Good morning. This is Black Crow walking, and
Karen Morley.
and we're bringing you a study of A Course of Love by Mari Perron. We're up to chapter 7, verse 22. Realize that when you are asked to give this up, so what are we giving up? So we better pre-read. You thus cling to the one sure thing that permeates your existence, the knowledge that death will claim you and all of those you love. Realize that when you are asked to give this up, you are asked to give up an existence so morbid that anyone with any sanity would gladly toss it to the wind and ask for an alternative. An alternative exists, not in dreams of fantasy, but in truth, not in changing forms and circumstance, but in eternal consistency.
Accept a new authority, even if only for the little while that it will take you to read these words. Start with this idea. You will allow for the possibility of a new truth to be revealed to your waiting heart. Hold in your heart the idea that as you read these words, and when you finish reading these words, their truth will be revealed to you. Let your heart be open to a new kind of evidence of what constitutes the truth. Think of no other outcomes than your happiness, and when happiness comes, deny it not, nor its source. Remind yourself that when love comes to fill your heart, you will deny it not, nor its source. You do not need to believe that this will happen, but only to allow for the possibility of it happening. Do not turn your back on the hope offered here, and when new life flows in to release the old, forget not from where it came.
Hmm. Very good. And very, very appropriate. So realize that when you are asked to give this up, death, the body, you are asked to give up an existence so morbid that anyone with any sanity would gladly toss it to the wind and ask for an alternative. An alternative exists. Okay, so, Karen, I've met people who didn't want to come here in the first place, that all their life they haven't wanted to be here. And of course, they've created not being here. They've become very sick and and convinced their body that they don't want to be here. So their body has started to die. So it's all in the manifesting process. What are you manifesting? And I'm personally manifesting heaven on earth. Happy,
Mm.
happy, happy. Happiness, peace, and freedom, my natural state. So for me, I do want to be here. But for a lot of people who are living in their pain bodies and who have created living in all sorts of situations that are causing them stress and pain, yeah, the last thing they want to do is be here. So toss that body away and give us an alternative. So what's the alternative, Karen?
Mm. To me, that's a beautiful thing to understand. Well, not understand, but just to know that there is an alternative, and that alternative is not a dream. In truth, it's not changing form and circumstance, but in eternal consistency. So, to me, yeah, the people living with that life that you're describing, it says existence so morbid. Who would want to live that way? That's nearly a self-fulfilling prophecy. You want that morbid existence.
And we
Uh,
do live in a world where suicide is really quite prevalent, especially in our young people these days.
mm.
And it's because they can't see what the alternative is. So we better quickly find out what is it.
Oh, accept a new authority, even if only for the little while that it will take for you to read these words. Start with this idea. You will allow for the possibility of a new truth to be revealed to your waiting heart. Hold in your heart the idea that as you read these words and when you finish reading these words, their truth will be revealed to you. Like it's not telling you to do anything.
It's not about doing, is it?
No, it's just allowing to
Yeah.
be here. It's like, oh, don't I have
Allowing
to
the
do
truth to
something?
come. Allowing the truth to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know last night I was tossing and turning. I woke at 3 in the morning and was tossing and turning. That head was filled with thoughts and different scenarios, and I knew what it was doing. And I had to keep coming back to, even touching where my heart was and keep coming back. And it was it felt like a struggle.
Mm.
That mind was really pulling me and saying, but look at me.
Mm.
And I was going, no, well, stop it was the word that came up in the middle of the night. Stop it.
Training.
Exactly. But it was stop it in like a, you're annoying me rather than, stop it, you're doing this again. And I found when I loosened up and was more light with it
Mm.
and was able to accept that it was, there, but without, coming down on myself about it, that it actually freed it up a bit so that I could come back to that space of being in from that hard space. Kept going all through the night though. It was a real toss and turning of doing that.
So let your heart be open to a new kind of evidence with that constitutes truth. So let your heart, there's the first key. Think of no other outcomes than your happiness, and when happiness comes, deny it not, nor its source. It's interesting because I often listen to Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, and she is often saying, reach for that happy place. Think about a memory that brought you happiness and bring and milk it for all it's got, and it's kind of a way of training you out of the morbid thoughts and into your natural state. So bringing you back to your natural state is reaching for that happy thought.
I needed this last night through the night.
That's it. So remind yourself that when love comes to fill your heart, and there's the answer, you will deny it not nor its source. You will not need to believe that this will happen, but only to allow for the possibility of it happening. Do not turn your back on the hope offered here. And when new life flows in to release the old, forget not from where you came. So basically, it's bringing us back to that whole knowing that there is only love or fear. And if we're in fear, we're in morbid thoughts. And when we're in morbid thoughts and rolling around in those, we don't want to be here. That's the truth. We don't want to be here when it's painful, when it's fearful, when we don't feel safe. And I think that's one of the key needs, or when we study nonviolent communication, for me particularly, is a need for safety. So fear doesn't make you feel safe, and negative thoughts don't make you feel safe either. So when that's happening, reach for the heart, reach for love, knowing that there is only love or fear, and you can choose. You actually have a choice. And that's the part that a lot of people don't understand, that we do have a choice to get out of the situations that are causing us grief and loss and pain and struggle and agony and what was that word?
Morbid
Morbid.
existence.
Yeah, when it's causing you morbid, then get out of it, stop it, and just reach for that happy thought and come back to loving yourself and milk that happy thought for everything you can get out of it.
Mm, mm.
I have a happy thought that I go to often, and that's sitting in a plum tree when I was a child, down the back. with all the kids from the neighborhood and eating apples and reading books and pretending that that was our castle. And that was a really happy thought for me, you know. So I can go there really quickly and think about what it was like to feel that camaraderie with the kids from the neighborhood, and to feel what it was like to sit in a tree, you know. That's such a great feeling. And you know, there's my happy thought. I'm already happy just talking about that. I'm just already bubbling with happiness, and my heart is responding in kind to that truth. And I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to hang on to that feeling, and bring that feeling through the day. Of it's made me smile, um, and that smile I can take to the world. You know. So yeah, thinking about sitting in that tree is enough, and from there you create a vibrational frequency that what you attract will be feeding that happiness, that love, rather than the fear and the morbid thoughts. So you are a magnet, and what you attract, what you're vibrating at. So let's milk those happy thoughts today, Karen.
Yes, mine is with my grandson. When he was living with me, he would give me the biggest hug. You know, all of a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, give me the biggest hug, and it would last and then linger. And that brings me so much joy all the time when I need a place to go to. That's who I see, is that beautiful giving of just unconditional, not unconditional, I don't like that word, but just giving from his heart to me. Mm.
Hmm. It's interesting you say you don't like the unconditional word, because unconditional is just simply stopping saying I'll only love you if.
Mm. Mm.
You know, that's the conditions. I'll only love you if you do this, or if you be this, or if you are this, you know. I actually like that word because it reminds
Unconditional.
me. It reminds me that I need to stop this I'll only love you ifs.
Mm. Mm.
You know? Yeah, it's a good reminder.
Yeah.
And, you know, I used to dislike that word too because I didn't know how to do it. But now I know how to do it because I don't do I'll only love you ifs anymore.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All right, everybody, I love you. And I hope that you have an awesome day in your happy thoughts. And choose love today. Bye for now.